What's up, fellas? Justin here, once again with you from Tame Type 1. And today we're going to talk about what happens when you're low at night. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, nothing scarier could happen than this. You're sleeping and your pump beats or your CGM beats, or maybe you're just like me. You sort of have a natural you're just sort of naturally attuned to what a good blood sugar is, and you wake up because your blood sugar is low and your body actually gets you up. I'm a lucky ducky for that. It's happened many times. But either way, you wake up, you're groggy, something's going on, and you know, oh crap, my blood sugar is low. What do? First off, it'd be great to avoid these situations entirely, but especially when your goal is to keep your blood sugar between 80 and 100, it's not always so easy to do. You know, sometimes things happen. Sometimes you make a big mistake in your basal where you might switch it. Hopefully it's not it. We'll get to that in another video. Hopefully it's not that. But sometimes, you eat less food than you were supposed to for the dose you had, or just something happens and you end up with a low blood sugar in the middle of the night, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and you're tired, you're just waking up, you're feeling even more sleepy because your blood sugar is low. How do we manage this? Now, first thing to do, as I say many times, is do not panic. Just because you wake up and your pump alarm goes off or your CGM goes off, for example, doesn't mean you need to start just downing, packs of chips and cookies and whatever sugar you might have around you. Take a whole can of glucose tabs straight to the gullet, drink a whole can of soda, whatever it is. Don't go crazy. Don't panic. It's going to be okay. You're waking up. You're awake now, so you're actually much more safer than you would be if you weren't awake, right? So you're already in safe territory as it is. What do we do though? Well, first, especially if you don't feel low, let's say your CGM just went off and it says you're low, take a minute to verify that, okay? Because sometimes CGMs can be a little wonky. Sometimes they can mess readings up a little bit. And if your blood sugar is 80, but your CGM says 65, well, you don't want to correct that, right? You're cruising right now, right? Unless you're trending downwards, right? That's something to check as well. But, get an actual glucose monitor, do a finger prick test real quick just to make sure you're actually low. If you feel low, well, you're probably right on the money, unless you have a problem with feeling low when you're not, right? That's another issue entirely. But anyway, never a bad idea to verify to see how low you are, if you're low, and then you kind of know what to do about it, right? I've gone over before in videos about dealing with lows, about how I sort of had like a tier system of how I manage lows based on how low I am. Instead of like going just sort of, if I'm at like 65, I'll take 15 grams. If I'm at 60, I'll take 15 grams. It's more like if I'm 65, I'll take maybe 5 grams. If I'm 60, I'll take 10 grams, so on, so on, so on. And that way, my blood sugar is not going to be spiking up too high after I take this sugar to deal with this low, right? So consider that sort of tier system, consider that sort of whatever approach you dialed in for yourself that keeps you from going too high after you take your sugar. Keep that in mind, and just don't go too quick with it, because when you wake up from dream world, if you're like deep in REM sleep, then you might not be like totally in the right mind yet. You might just need a moment to sort of gather your thoughts and focus. Like, wait, okay, how low am I? How much do I need? Right? Give yourself a little bit of time to adjust a little bit. I remember one time recently, I had a dream that I was in some like Japanese dojo or something, preparing a feast, and then I wake up low, and I'm like, when's the feast start? Where's the freaking rice patties? And I'm like, oh wait, I'm in my bed. You know what I mean? You just sort of have to wake up a little bit first, right? But once you're able to sort of think clearly, then you can manage it, and then you can like tackle it properly. And another thing to keep in mind as well is be very careful about overdoing it. We sort of get into this sort of flight or fight mode when we're low at night, because it's kind of a dangerous place to be. And, you don't want to go back to bed not taking enough and then go low again and have to wake up again. So a lot of times people will just overdo it. What you want to keep in mind whenever you're managing a low blood sugar is that typically, unless you're like drinking something, or maybe you're absorbing it into your gums, it's an even quicker way that I've learned recently. Unless you're like drinking straight sugar water or juice or something, typically that sugar is not going to hit you immediately. You take the amount of sugar that you think you might need, in whatever food form it might be, but you're still going to feel low. You're going to be like, dang, I still feel low. I need to take more. And then you take more, and then your blood sugar is going to spike because you didn't wait for your blood sugar to get all the way back up based on what you already ate, right? It takes around, honestly, I found it takes up to half an hour to really see the full effects of any sort of food stuff you're eating to manage a blood sugar drop and bring it back up. So you want to give yourself that little bit of time and have a little bit of patience. And again, like I always say, consider the context. Consider the context. Why was your blood sugar dropping? Think back. Is it still dropping? Look at the CGM. Look at the charts. Use that sort of context to decide how much you need. If you're going to have to give a little bit more or a little bit less than you normally would, keep that context in mind. Take it slow and easy and just don't panic. So I'll leave it for that, everyone. Ultimately, what you want to do is you want to correct that blood sugar just enough to get you in that sweet spot of 80 to 100 and wake up that way, right? That's the ultimate goal. You don't want to overshoot it. You certainly don't want to undershoot it. But to get it just right, you need to follow those basic techniques that I'm trying to lay out today and that I've laid out in previous videos. I'll leave it at that, everyone. Keep taming your type 1. And remember, if you wake up low in the middle of the night, first thing to do, don't panic. It's going to be okay. Take your time with it and keep that context in mind. That's all for now. Y'all keep taming your type 1.